You know, Sacramento is just in such an incredible place right now. We're booming. We're becoming much more than a government town. And the creative economy and the arts are key to that. I'm the oldest of three sons. I got a brother who's a civil rights teacher and another brother who's a rabbi. My wife and I have raised our two now adult children in Sacramento. I have a lot of outside pursuits, even though I don't have a lot of time. I'm a rabid reader. I play competitive tennis. I love all sports. And I just love being with friends and family. I've been inspired a number of times by great works of theatrical art and film. You know, I love all forms of art, but music, I mean, has inspired me throughout my lifetime. You know, different songs that have been so meaningful. Well, everybody who knows me knows I love Bruce Springsteen and have seen his, you know, like so many others, have been to a dozen or more of his concerts. And, you know, I like him. And people like him. You know, we're talking over the last weekend about the late Harry Chapin. I mean, I love artists who speak to your soul and who have a message and who inspire you to want to be even better at what you do. And I think Springsteen, because of the fact that he is about the heart and the head and has a message about social justice and about people who are left behind and left out, I think he remains my number one. We're at the very beginning. I mean, the truth of the matter is, in California since the late 70s, arts education has largely been an afterthought or an elective. And in Sacramento, with the budget issues, arts have taken a big hit. As a city, I often say we're only as good as our schools, number one. And number two, as I said earlier, this creative economy is the centerpiece to our drive to build a more modern, cosmopolitan, inclusive city. And so it starts with arts education. Not only does that help answer the question, who will buy the tickets, who will be the patrons in the seats 20 years from now, or 10 or 15 years from now, but it's also such a key connection to young people finding their path and inspiring them either along a career or a passion. And so we're investing some resources in arts education. We're trying to build a consortium with the school districts and the private sector, and we're just on the front end, and we've got a lot of work left to do. There is a divide. I think there are some people who feel that the role of a city and a city council is to provide for the public safety, maintain the parks, pick up the garbage on time, and not do much else. And then there are others, and I would put myself in this latter category, who say that if we're going to grow a tax base, which by the way is necessary to fund public safety, because I agree that's our most important and essential priority, that you've got to build a modern economy. And part of building a modern economy is investing in the creative economy. What is going to attract more industry here? In part, it's art and culture and sports and a city that is seen as a vital and robust city. And so you can make the case at many levels. You can make the case that the creative economy helps build our tax base, which provides more resources for public safety. Or you can simply make the non-monetary case and say that every great city deserves a variety of options for people who live here and of people who might choose to live here about what to do, what to see, what to do on the weekends. And art and culture has got to be at the top of the list. When I became mayor in 2017, one of the very first initiatives we put forward was the Creative Economy pilot project, and we invested $500,000 in neighborhood-based entrepreneurs and artists, because arts cannot just be about the traditional ways we've thought about arts. It's about putting our money where our values are. And our drive in Sacramento is actually pretty simple. We want to build a modern cosmopolitan economy, and we want to connect that growth to the neighborhoods. And so our creative economy and our arts initiatives have to be about, yes, boosting the traditional art forms, absolutely. But we need to pay equal attention, if not more attention, to investing in neighborhood-based arts. But certainly arts are healing. Arts are unifying. Art is inclusive. And a healthy society allows for and celebrates people who are creative, who maybe look at life a little bit differently, who are unconventional. And we want more of that in Sacramento. I am very familiar with art therapy, especially for children, as a way of allowing a child to express themselves on whatever worries or trauma they may be experiencing. And yes, I think that the Creative Edge plan, the creative economy, ought to include therapy in the right way. And you know, we have a lot of mental health dollars at the county too, through the Mental Health Services Act. And as we hopefully integrate those resources more into our schools, certainly art therapy is an appropriate mode to communicate and try to reach some kids that otherwise are hard to reach. Well, there's no question that homelessness is the most visible manifestation of our community's challenges, and our most visible manifestation in many cases of untreated mental illness and people living with serious substance abuse problems. This is a statewide issue, and it's growing, unfortunately, in its magnitude and in its numbers. I am very clear that we have to step back and we have to approach this from many different perspectives and many different angles. We must continue to drive towards more mental health services and more permanent supportive housing. But we have to be clear that we have to bring people indoors. We cannot triage the numbers of people and help the numbers of people while they're living outside. This state needs a right to shelter and an obligation to take shelter, and use the fact that people have come in to help them reclaim their lives. And that's something that we haven't done in this state. In some ways, we're so focused on the long-term objective that we have missed the fact that people cannot get better, by and large, if you're trying to bring them in from the outside. They need to come inside. That's my drive. You know, I don't know that I have a crowning achievement. I just want to keep doing the work. I think that the mental health system in California, while we've made many great strides and many great improvements, including over $2 billion of additional resources through California's Prop 63, the Mental Health Services Act, is still a broken system. It's still a system that's hard to access. We don't have enough professionals. We don't have enough of a mental health workforce. We have too much of a fragmented system where if you have commercial insurance, you go in one door. If you're low income and you're mild or moderate, you go through another door. And if you have a serious mental health condition, you go through a third door. We need to end the fragmentation and fix the system and make sure that people who are suffering can get the help that they need early enough so that they don't suffer the worst of consequences, which makes it harder then to recover. So my work is going to be to continue to be a leader through our institute here, and outside to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make mental health a priority and to build a system that the people of California deserve.